Chris Christie is currently polling at around 15% approval, which is not only really bad, it's actually the worst a governor has ever polled as long as they've been tracking it in terms of approval. And we're talking about some governors that at the end were under criminal investigation, still had approval ratings higher than Chris Christie. But despite that, he has found a way to possibly drive his approval rating even lower. And it started with a recent government shutdown in New Jersey, which of course led to certain services being shut down. Now, one of them is the Island Beach State Park. The entrance was closed Saturday, July 1st because of the shutdown, which means that people could not access that state park. Well, actually, that's wrong. It's not that people can't access it. It's non-Chris Christie people can't access it, because if you go to this photo, you're gonna see that journalists got in a plane and flew over, if you could jump to P1, and flew over the beach and happened to say, oh my God, who is that? Well, that is Chris Christie and his immediate family and friends.
Oh, that's my favorite picture right there.
So look at that beautiful shot of almost the entire beach not being occupied except by Chris Christie.
Well, even Edward Snowden tweeted about, like, this is the perfect example of what's happening with our government today.
Yeah.
Where it's only for the elite.
And
no one else is allowed on the beach, which of course, that makes them even happier. There's no riffraff and masses around them.
Yeah, exactly, masses. Anyway, so a lot of people obviously having a lot of fun with this. If we could go to this picture, you're gonna see a nice sand castle that was made in his image there. And then also there was one writer, if we could jump to the next one, this had like over 70,000 likes. It's his book is being read, and for some reason they chose to blur out the crotch, which even if there's no nudity, when you blur it out, makes it seem kind of dirty. And so
he photoshopped the book in, by the way.
Photoshopped the book in, yes. He wasn't actually reading the book. So look, this would be bad enough, but the attempt to deceive the public makes it even worse. And so Chris Christie, later that same day, this past weekend, had a news conference. And at that news conference, Christie was asked if he got any sun Sunday. He said, I didn't get any sun today. When later told of the photo that we just showed you, Brian Murray, the governor's spokesman, said, yes, the government was on the beach briefly today, talking to his wife and family before heading to the office. He did not get any sun. He had a baseball hat on.
Oh.
And by talking to his wife and family briefly, he meant lounging in a chair in beach wear, soaking up the sun and enjoying himself.
That's one of my favorite lies, though. No, I wasn't out in the sun. Oh, you have pictures? I had a baseball hat on.
Dude,
and flippers.
You have flip-flops on. You have flip-flops. Oh my God, that photo when they show that nobody can go on there is just amazing. By the way, my favorite take on this is probably from Tony Poznansky, who said, Chris Christie closing the beach to the public and only opening it for himself is the most real-life Cartman South Park thing ever. Which is totally true. And yeah, and my takeaway was this, very similar to what you said, that a lot of politicians have always considered themselves to be better and more powerful and more above the regular man. But there seems to be an increasing belief that there is nothing they can do that can hurt themselves. No matter how arrogant, no matter how cruel, no matter how tone deaf, they are better than you and they are going to exercise that. They're not gonna hide it anymore. Doesn't matter if you put a journalist in a plane to take photos, because when he was confronted with the truth of this, he said specifically, if you want these sorts of privileges, run and become governor. He literally said that, okay? He's better than you because he became governor. And if you want to show him, you just need to beat him in the next election.
So he has a couple of residences, the governor of New Jersey. One is in Princeton and the other one is the one that you were looking at there. So his literal quote was, well, I'm sorry, they're not the governor. So
it's good to be king.
Yeah, so the governor gets to shut down the beach and use it just for himself. That's not supposed to be one of the privileges of being governor.
Yeah.
So yes, you get that residence, I get that. That's not the conversation we're having. We're not saying never go to that residence.
Yeah.
We're saying if you don't allow anyone else on the beach, perhaps you should live by the same laws as the rest of us.
Exactly.
But to him, he's brazen. He says, this is a residence. We have a residence in Princeton as well. And that place is a place where people can go and tour. But if the government is closed, but they can't if the government is closed. Am I supposed to move out and stay in a hotel? That's the way it goes. Run for governor and you could have the residence.
This is Donald Trump behavior. This is spend 20% of your presidency on the golf course behavior. Like imagine if we had President Sanders, or imagine if Sanders was the governor of New Jersey. Do you think he'd be lounging on the beach there? No, he would say, okay, look, the state is obviously at a crisis right now. We've got a government shutdown. I'm not gonna be having fun at the beach. I'm gonna be working to resolve this crisis and fix things for the people of New Jersey. That's how you show leadership, not by putting on your flip-flops and a hat and soaking up the sun on a New Jersey beach. But they're not in it to solve actual problems. They're in it for the privileges, the benefits, and the power.
And just a couple of weeks ago when they asked him about his disastrous approval ratings, and by the way, to be fair, I read that he was the 4th least popular governor in US history.
I read most popular since they've been, I'll look it up. Yeah?
4th most or most? Number 1.
I apologize if I'm fake news.
If he's in fact number 4, he's trying real hard to get to number 1. So don't say that he's not working hard.
Okay.
And they didn't allow Cub Scouts into that to a state park at the same time. But to be fair, those Cub Scouts, they weren't governors. If they want to get into the state park, they should have just been governors. You know what I'm saying? And a couple of weeks ago, Christie said, when asked about those approval numbers, he's like, who cares? I'm not running again. The people that I'm supposed to represent are dissatisfied with me. Maybe I'm doing something wrong. It's who cares? There's nothing in it for me anymore.
Yeah.
If you like this video, you'll love the whole TYT network. Check it out at tytnetwork.com/join.